Hey guys, Alex here with Momentum Charting, where you will always get my 100% unique perspective on markets and stocks. Today we are going to be getting into the chart of AMC. Guys, I never use my own feelings or my own biases to predetermine my conclusions when I'm looking at markets. I examine price action, I examine trends, I listen to the markets, not the noise. Thank you so much for being here. If you have not yet done so, jump down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Doing both of those will make certain you do not miss a single update on AMC, broad markets, all your favorite stocks moving forward. Let's get into the chart here today of AMC. So, it's been maybe a week or more since we've last looked at AMC, and the main reason is it's been kind of a boring, dull grind here, just kind of sideways, choppy / lower in AMC. There hasn't been a whole lot to talk about, so I'm here on a daily time frame, which I usually like to start with inside of TradingView. And you guys can see here, to me, the most obvious sort of trend here that has developed is sort of this is what traders often refer to as a bearish triangle, because oftentimes they break down, right? But it's not always the case. We need to follow all of our other technical stuff to see exactly what's going to happen. Look at the trend, look for follow through, look at the price action, everything like that. But it's known as, yes, a bearish triangle. But does that necessarily mean we are going to break down from here? No, 100% it does not. Okay, so it looks to me like there's definitely some support in this area. We are supported not only from this slightly uptrending 125 EMA here, but it looks like we have put a couple of wicks here in place, one on August 5th and another one on August 11th, and we are just really slowly here grinding. And to me, it really does look like within the next week, 10 days of trading possibly, we are going to come to some sort of a conclusion from this triangle. What I personally would like to see is for this thing to just break to the outside here, ignore this downward sloping overhead line of resistance, and just continue with this sideways consolidation until we are at some point able to gain enough power for a break to the upside in AMC, which we have been waiting for now for many weeks, just being patient with this stock and seeing what happens. So let's open up also here the dynamic RSI on a daily time frame. Just give us some idea of what we're looking at. Yeah, operating in very bearish zones here still. Down in the, well, it could be worse, 37, 38. Not the best, not the worst, but definitely still here bearish zones. If we were to stay down in these areas, definitely like has been happening, prices will continue to bleed. That's what I'm hoping, that this RSI here over the next maybe 10 trading days, we can get above this zone here of 45 and start putting some structure in place to potentially move higher in the coming weeks, instead of just like we have been operating in these bearish zones down here where you really have no chance of recovery in price if you're just staying down in these areas in the 40s and 30s. So that's what I'm looking for. A break back above these zones here, start putting some structure to move us in a positive direction on the dynamic RSI. Let's go down to a 30-minute chart just so we can see our short-term time frame trend. And yeah, it's pretty obvious to me on a short-term / mid-term time frame, you know, been in place ever since July 6th. Yeah, over 2 months now. These short-term trend, guys, on AMC, definitely bearish. The long-term daily trend is really this thing to me right now is very, very neutral, just because we appear to be sitting on this 125 EMA and sort of working sideways here on an extreme level of support, and that we're also in between our kind of trend here, somewhere operating in this middle zone. So to me, long term, we're still very, very neutral. Short term, again, back to the 30-minute here. Yeah, very, very clearly on a short-term perspective, this trend is definitely down. So I would like for us to start, once again, like I was showing on the daily, break to the outside of this overhead resistance. That would, in fact, negate this short-term bearish trend, and then we would be neutral. So always what happens, guys, when you break out of these either upward sloping or downward sloping short-term trends, what happens? Probably 90 to 92% of the time, you break out of these and you form these channels, right? And then what you do when you break to the outside of these, you're just kind of waiting and watching this channel develop, and then watching for that channel to make a decision in one way or the other, which way it's going to move. So AMC here, guys, is definitely going to require some more patience. In the minute short-term trend, you can see kind of this 200, the 125 pushing down on prices here. Yeah, you can see this short cycle here since August 11th appears to possibly be top, maybe working back to the downside. Looking at the short-term RSI here, yeah, yeah, these zones are okay to be working in here above 50, but you know, at some point here, this RSI cycle is going to come to a conclusion and reset. And if it does so at a reasonable level around these zones, gives us a chance to start pushing back to the upside on this shortest term time frame, which would potentially allow us to carry to the outside of this downward sloping resistance that's been in place now for the last 2 months. So yeah, also on the short term, this bearish downtrending overhead downsloping resistance, and you can see here this dynamic trend also starting to operate in a bit of a bearish zone too, but we can definitely overcome that again if we can continue this sideways consolidation and waiting for an opportunity to gain some momentum in a positive direction to the upside. And what I'm going to show you, we've looked at the daily and we've looked at the 30-minute long-term and mid-term trends here on AMC. What I want to do now is jump over to our momentum chart and see if we can see anything that might be able to help us out. And I did want to start here on a daily momentum, and as you guys can see here, there really has not been a single buy signal in place on a daily time frame since June 25th. Okay, these our momentum data points, our momentum bubbles have just been on a downward trajectory ever since, yeah, late June. So similar to the amount of time that's been showing here on our downward sloping overhead resistance, we just haven't really been able to kind of get off the mat on AMC as far as a daily momentum, any of the daily momentum being able to help us by pushing back to the upside. That just hasn't happened yet. What I would like to see here is either some flattening of this trend or a rounded bottom, which would enable us to, let me open this back up so you can see this more clearly here on this daily time frame, break this overhead down sloping resistance and get into some sort of channel here, which will enable us to start pushing back to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for with the daily momentum. Yeah, just if we can even start getting just some green data points, some green momentum bubbles, a rounded bottom of some sort here, even a flattening of this downward momentum which has been in place the last couple of months on AMC, would give us a chance for this thing to start pushing back to the upside. And the thing that's so great, guys, if we can get this thing somewhere in these areas to start pushing back to the upside, it's going to lead us to a nice positive divergence in a very positive area of momentum, which would give the chance, the opportunity for AMC to start moving to much, much higher prices in the coming months if we are able to get this momentum to turn around in a positive direction. Okay, looking at the 3 hours, see if we can see anything there. No, that appears to also still be moving sort of to the downside. Get rid of this here. I just wanted to see the alignment. Yeah, not crazy about the alignment of the 50 and 200 here. 200 still pointing, curling over, pointing slightly down. The 200 the 50 moving average also pointing down here slightly. Again, not crazy about this alignment of things here, of our moving averages. Let's move over to the 1 hour. Let's see if we can see anything there. Also here on this 1 hour, you guys can see here since mid-July, we just have not been able to break this cycle here, the 200 and the 50 moving average in a bearish alignment, still pointing to the downside here. Not a whole lot to glean from this other than it looks like, at least for the foreseeable future, continued slow grind, either sideways, choppy to the downside in AMC, which is kind of what we are seeing from our daily and 30-minute charts over here. Again, hoping to have this area here hold as support around 29.14. That would be very, very positive to me if we are able to hold that area past the end of the month. Okay, that's going to be key for me to watch here. Holding this area around $29, approximately $29, having us at least being able to grind sideways and hold that $29 zone past the end of the month, which would break that short-term cycle of downward bearish overheads, downward sloping resistance in these short-term time periods. So yeah, the 50 and 200 on the 1 hour chart, not looking that great to me. This here to me also not really that great. On the 1 hour, you guys can see kind of we're stuck in this bearish zone of momentum, just whipsawing back and forth, which will eventually continue to have prices grind lower and lower. What we do need to happen here, guys, is zero line of momentum. We need to break these levels here at around negative 1.23 and come in, start working in these positive momentum areas, and that will enable prices on AMC to start moving in earnest again to the upside, putting some structure in place in these zones and pushing above the zero line to get rid of this bearishness that's been plaguing AMC for the last 2 months. So guys, basically that's it. In the very, very minutest, shortest time period, nothing obviously as of yet to get too excited about. The battle front, the war, guys, looks to me to be somewhere towards the end of the month, and our ability to hold that level at $29. If we can do that, guys, some very positive things to look forward to. And let's also keep a close eye on this daily momentum and see if we are able to get some sort of a turn in a positive direction, which would give me definitely an indication, especially if we were able to break outside of this downward sloping resistance. A push back to the upside in momentum would be definitely a buy signal on AMC to me. And my target obviously would be this 60 area, targeting this upper line of resistance that's been developed since middle of this year, right? Our highs back here since June. So that would be my target if we are able to turn back in a positive direction here on our momentum daily within the next month and change, few weeks. Something like that to me would be really good, guys. So if you have not yet done so, guys, make sure you go down below, hit the subscribe button. Doing those things is going to be the only way to ensure you do not miss any of my important updates on AMC. Going to be watching those trend lines, going to be watching the hold of that price, going to be watching this momentum indicator, seeing if we can't get it to turn back to the upside. All of that stuff to look forward to. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you all on the next AMC update video very soon. Bye for now.